Alex loved his house on Maple Street. It was a small, cozy place with a red door and a little garden in front. He had lived there for 3 years. Most of his neighbors were quiet, and life felt peaceful. He enjoyed the morning sun shining through his kitchen window and the soft sound of birds outside. But recently, Alex had started noticing unusual things. His neighbor, Karen, the president of the Homeowners Association, always seemed to be watching him. She walked around the neighborhood at odd times and often glanced at his house. She smiled politely when they met, but Alex felt that her smiles were not friendly. Something in her eyes told him she liked to control everything. One night, Alex came home after a long day at work. His job at the delivery office kept him busy until late. He parked his car in front of the house and walked toward the door. He immediately noticed something strange. The small welcome mat in front of the door was slightly moved. He frowned and stepped closer. He reached for his key and tried to unlock the door, but it would not turn. He pulled again and again, but the lock was stiff and would not open. Alex's heart started to beat faster. Something was wrong. He looked around, but the street was empty and quiet. He knocked gently, thinking maybe someone had a reason to be inside, but no one answered. Alex went to the neighbor's house next door. He knocked on the door of Mrs. Sharma, a kind elderly woman who lived alone. "Mrs. Sharma, did you see anyone near my house tonight?" he asked. She shook her head. "No, Alex. It is quiet tonight. Are you okay?" Alex nodded, but he could not hide his worry. The next morning, Alex called a locksmith. The man came quickly and examined the front door. "Sir, these locks have been changed recently," he said. "It looks like someone entered without permission. You cannot use these keys anymore." Alex felt a mixture of anger and fear. Someone had entered his house while he was away. But who would do such a thing? Alex tried to ask Karen about it at the HOA office. She was sitting at her desk, smiling as always. "Karen, do you know anything about my locks?" "They have been changed," Alex said. Karen looked calm. "Oh, it must have been for safety reasons," she replied softly. Alex did not believe her. Her polite voice could not hide the feeling that she had done it. He returned home that day and thought about what he could do. He could not feel safe in his own house. He needed a way to protect his home. Alex spent the entire evening researching security options online. He read about cameras, alarms, reinforced doors, and steel locks. He took notes and planned how to make his home secure. Alex also talked to his friend Sam over the phone. "I think Karen is trying to control the neighborhood," Alex said. "She changed my locks without asking. I need to make sure it never happens again." Sam agreed. "You should build something strong, Alex. A door that no one can break. Something even Karen cannot touch." That night, Alex could not sleep. He imagined someone entering his home again while he was asleep. He imagined all the things that could go wrong if he did not act. Finally, he decided he would take control of the situation. He would install a steel bunker door at the entrance. Not only would it protect him, but it would also give him peace of mind. Alex knew the work would take time and effort. He measured his door frame, made a list of materials, and drew plans carefully. He wanted everything to be perfect. He knew that once the steel door was installed, no one could enter without his permission. He felt a little relief thinking about it. Finally, he would feel safe at home again. The next day, he called a professional to discuss the installation of a strong steel door. Alex felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. This was not just about a door. It was about protecting his life and his home. He was ready to take control, and he would not let anyone make him feel powerless again. Alex woke up early the next morning with a clear goal. He wanted to make his home completely safe. The thought of someone entering without permission made him anxious. He decided to start planning the steel bunker door carefully. This was not going to be a normal door. It had to be strong, heavy, and impossible to break. He opened his notebook and drew the front entrance. He measured the door frame and marked the dimensions. Then he listed all the materials he would need: thick steel plates, a strong lock system, bolts, and a reinforced frame. He knew it would not be easy. He also needed to hire a professional to help with installation. Steel doors were very heavy, and it required careful work to fit them perfectly. Alex made a few phone calls to local construction companies. He explained his plan and asked for quotes. Most people were curious about why he wanted such a strong door, but Alex simply said it was for safety. He did not want to explain the full story about Karen and the locks. Some companies agreed to help, and one promised to come the next day to check the measurements. While waiting for the professional, Alex went through his house. He checked every window and door. He realized that some parts of his home were still vulnerable. He took notes on each weak point and decided to install small cameras in key places. This way, he could see if anyone was near his house. He also bought motion sensor lights for the garden. He wanted to make his home as secure as possible. Karen continued her usual routine. She walked past Alex's house every morning and evening. She always waved politely, but Alex could feel her eyes watching him. He knew she had noticed his research and phone calls. He felt a little tension but refused to let it stop him. He had made up his mind. No one would control his life. The professional arrived the next morning. His name was Mr. Anwar, a calm and friendly man who had experience with security doors. Alex showed him the notebook and explained the plan. Mr. Anwar nodded and said, "This will be very strong. No one will be able to open it without your key. It will take a few days to install, but it will be worth it." Alex felt relief. Finally, he had help. Over the next few days, Alex spent time preparing the house. He cleared the front entrance and removed old locks. He helped Mr. Anwar by holding tools and checking measurements. They discussed different lock systems and agreed on a combination of a digital lock and a reinforced steel key. Alex liked this idea because it would make the door even harder to open. During this time, Alex also noticed some strange behavior from Karen. She stopped by the street more often and asked neighbors questions about his work. Alex realized she was trying to figure out what he was doing. He stayed calm. He did not respond to her questions and focused on the steel door instead. He knew patience and careful work were more important than arguing. One evening, Alex and Mr. Anwar finished preparing the door frame. The steel door was huge and heavy, but it fit perfectly. They tested the lock, and it worked smoothly. Alex felt a sense of satisfaction he had never felt before. This door was more than metal. It was safety, peace, and freedom from fear. Alex looked at the street and saw Karen walking by. She stopped and stared at his house, clearly surprised. He smiled slightly. He did not need to say anything. The door itself was a message. No one could take control of his home anymore. Before going to bed, Alex made one final check. The garden lights were working, the cameras were in place, and the steel door was locked. He felt safe for the first time in weeks. He knew challenges could come again, but he also knew he was ready. He had taken control of his home, and nothing could stop him now. The next morning, Alex woke up early. Today was the day the steel bunker door would be installed. He felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. This was the final step to secure his home and feel safe again. He made a quick breakfast and reviewed the plan with Mr. Anwar. Mr. Anwar arrived with 2 assistants and a large truck carrying the steel door and all the necessary tools. Alex stepped outside and looked at the heavy metal plate. It was larger than he had imagined. The smooth steel surface reflected the sunlight, making it look strong and unbreakable. Alex felt proud already. They began by removing the old wooden door carefully. Alex helped by holding the tools and clearing the space. Dust flew, and the sound of hammers echoed around the house. It was hard work, but Alex enjoyed every moment. Finally, the old door was gone, and the frame was ready for the steel door. Mr. Anwar measured the frame again. "Precision is very important," he said. "Even a small mistake can make the door hard to close or damage the lock." Alex watched closely as the team worked, learning every step. He wanted to know how everything fit together. Next, they lifted the steel door into place. It was very heavy, but the team worked efficiently. They adjusted it carefully, making sure it fit perfectly inside the frame. Alex noticed that the hinges were thick and strong. He tested the door by pushing gently. It did not move. He smiled. This was going to be very secure. The lock system was the next step. Mr. Anwar installed a combination of a digital keypad and a reinforced steel key. Alex tried the digital code several times. It worked smoothly, and he felt a sense of relief. No one could open this door without knowing the code or having the key. While the installation continued, Alex noticed movement outside. Karen was walking by the street. She stopped near the corner and looked directly at the house. Alex ignored her. He focused on the door. He did not want to give her any satisfaction or attention. Karen frowned and walked away slowly, clearly curious and surprised at the changes. By late afternoon, the steel door was fully installed. Alex and Mr. Anwar tested it multiple times. It closed perfectly and locked smoothly. Alex turned the key, pressed the code, and even tried pushing hard. Nothing worked. The door was strong, heavy, and unmovable. Alex felt a wave of satisfaction and relief. This door was more than steel. It was safety, freedom, and control over his home. After finishing, Mr. Anwar gave Alex some advice. "Always check the code and make sure the hinges are tight," he said. "A door like this is very strong, but regular maintenance is important." Alex nodded and promised to follow his instructions. That evening, Alex sat in his living room and looked at the new door. The sun was setting, casting a golden light over the steel. He felt calm. For the first time in weeks, he could relax. No one could enter his home without permission. Karen could no longer interfere in his life. He had taken control. Alex decided to celebrate in a small way. He made a cup of tea and sat near the window. The garden lights he had installed earlier glowed softly. The cameras were quietly watching every corner. Alex felt proud of his work. He realized that taking action, even when it was hard, gave him confidence. That night, Alex slept peacefully. He dreamed of a safe, quiet life where no one could control him. He knew challenges could come again, but he also knew he was ready. The steel bunker door was a symbol of his strength and determination. The morning after the steel bunker door was installed, Alex felt a sense of calm he had not experienced in weeks. He walked around his house, checking the cameras and motion sensors. Everything was working perfectly. The front door stood strong and solid. He felt safe. However, later that day, something unusual happened. While Alex was watering the garden, he noticed a moving shadow near the street. It was Karen. She walked slowly past his house, but she was not smiling this time. Her expression seemed more serious. Alex watched her from behind the window. He wondered what she was thinking. Karen stopped near the corner of the street and looked directly at Alex's house. She seemed curious about the changes. Alex did not respond. He continued working in the garden, pretending not to notice her. He knew that ignoring her would frustrate her more than anything. Later, Alex went inside to check the cameras. He noticed something strange. A delivery truck had stopped near the entrance. A man got out and tried to inspect the front door. Alex realized it was someone from Karen's HOA team. They wanted to see if the new door could be opened or tested. Alex stayed calm. He pressed the alert button on his security system, and a message flashed, "Unauthorized inspection detected." Alex smiled. The door was working exactly as he had hoped. No one could get in without his permission. He watched the man examine the door, push lightly, and then leave after realizing it was impossible to open. Karen was watching from a distance, clearly frustrated. Alex felt satisfaction. He had taken the right steps. That evening, Alex received a call from Mr. Anwar. "Alex, I have a suggestion," he said. "Your door is strong, but adding a small interior lock can give you extra security. It is very simple to install, and it gives double protection." Alex agreed immediately. The next morning, he installed the interior lock. Now, the door could not be opened even if someone tried the exterior lock. A few days passed, and life seemed normal again. Alex continued his routine, checking cameras, watering the garden, and making small improvements. He felt more confident every day. Karen, on the other hand, seemed to be observing quietly. She no longer walked past his house every day, but Alex knew she had not given up. One afternoon, Alex heard a soft knock on the window. He looked and saw a small package. It was from a neighbor, delivering something Karen had asked them to give him. Alex opened it carefully. Inside was a note that read, "We are all watching. Stay careful." Alex frowned. It was clearly a warning, but he did not feel afraid. He placed the note on the table and continued with his work. The steel door was more than just metal, it was his protection. That night, Alex thought about the challenges he had faced. The changed locks, Karen's interference, and the constant feeling of being watched had been stressful. But now, with the steel bunker door and cameras, he felt in control. He realized that taking action, planning carefully, and staying calm were the keys to protecting himself. He also learned something important about courage. It was not about fighting or arguing. It was about preparing, thinking ahead, and not allowing anyone to take control of his life. The door symbolized his strength and determination. Before going to bed, Alex checked the security cameras one last time. Everything was quiet. The garden lights glowed softly, and the street was calm. Alex smiled and locked the door. He felt proud. For the first time in weeks, he truly felt safe in his home. As he turned off the lights and went to sleep, he knew challenges could come again. Karen might try something new, or other problems could arise. But Alex also knew he was ready. The steel door, the locks, and the cameras had given him not just safety, but confidence. He was no longer afraid of what others could do. A few weeks had passed since the steel bunker door was installed, and Alex's life had returned to normal. He enjoyed quiet mornings in the garden and peaceful evenings in the living room. He felt safe knowing that no one could enter his house without permission. One afternoon, while Alex was checking the cameras, he noticed something unusual. A small group of people was walking slowly along the street near his house. They were talking quietly and looking toward his home. Alex frowned. He recognized one of them. It was a friend of Karen. They seemed curious and careful, as if testing the area. Alex decided to stay calm. He knew that reacting angrily would not help. He watched as they approached the gate. One of them tried to look through the bushes and peeked at the steel door. The door stood perfectly still and strong. The man shrugged and stepped back. Alex realized they were testing the limits of his security. Later that evening, Alex received a call from Mr. Anwar. "Alex, I think you should consider installing a small alarm system on the door. It will notify you immediately if someone tries to tamper with it." Alex agreed. The next morning, Mr. Anwar arrived with a compact alarm system. They installed sensors on the hinges and the lock. Alex pressed the test button. A loud, clear sound filled the house. He smiled. Now the door was not just strong, it would alert him to any attempt to break in. A few days after the alarm installation, Alex noticed a new trick. Karen had begun leaving small, anonymous notes in the neighborhood. Some were polite reminders about HOA rules, but one clearly mentioned his new security measures. Alex read it carefully. She was trying to intimidate him subtly. He folded the note and put it in a drawer. He refused to let it affect him. Alex realized he needed to stay vigilant. He spent time learning more about home security. He adjusted camera angles to cover every corner of the house, programmed alerts on his phone, and even reinforced some windows. He wanted to be prepared for anything. Every improvement gave him more confidence. One afternoon, a neighbor approached Alex. "I saw some people near your house today," the neighbor said. "They were asking questions about your door and the cameras." Alex nodded. "I know. They are curious, but the door and alarms are ready. Nothing can get through." The neighbor smiled. "You really took safety seriously." Alex felt proud. He had turned fear into action, and the results were clear. That evening, Alex walked in the garden. The sun was setting, casting warm colors on the house. The steel door gleamed in the light. He imagined Karen looking from a distance, realizing she could not control him anymore. Alex felt a sense of satisfaction and freedom. He had faced challenges and stayed calm, and his planning had worked perfectly. Later that night, Alex tested the digital code and the steel key again. Everything worked smoothly. He listened as the alarm sensors functioned quietly in the background. For the first time in a long time, he felt complete peace. He realized that true security came not only from strong doors but also from careful planning, observation, and patience. Alex went to bed with a smile. He knew Karen might continue her small challenges, but he was ready for them. The steel door, the alarms, and the cameras had created a strong shield around his home. He had faced clever tests and had passed them all. He understood now that staying calm, thinking ahead, and taking smart action was the best way to protect himself. As he closed his eyes, Alex thought about the journey he had taken. From the moment he discovered the locks had been changed to installing the steel bunker door and alarms, he had grown stronger. He knew challenges could come again, but he also knew he was prepared. His home was safe, and his confidence had grown. He slept peacefully, ready for whatever might come next. Alex had grown confident in the safety of his home. The steel bunker door, alarms, and cameras had made him feel in control. He enjoyed quiet mornings in the garden and peaceful evenings reading in the living room. Life had returned to a calm rhythm, and he felt proud of the steps he had taken. One evening, as the sun began to set, Alex noticed a car slowly driving past his house. It stopped for a moment, and he saw a man get out. Alex did not recognize him. The man walked toward the front gate and looked around carefully. Alex quickly checked the cameras. The man seemed curious about the house but did not appear aggressive. Alex stayed calm. He knew the steel door and alarm system would protect him. He pressed a button on his phone and watched closely. The man reached the door and tapped lightly on the steel surface. The alarm did not trigger because the door was secure, but the man seemed frustrated. He stepped back and studied the camera above the entrance. Alex decided to step outside carefully. He walked slowly to the front gate, keeping a safe distance. "Hello," Alex said calmly. "Can I help you?" The man looked surprised to see him. He raised his hand slightly. "I'm not here to cause trouble," he said. "I'm from the neighborhood security office. We received reports of unusual activity here and wanted to check." Alex listened carefully. The man explained that the HOA had sent some messages about unusual activity near Alex's home. He was there to ensure everything was safe. Alex realized this was an unexpected but friendly visit. He remained polite but cautious. "Everything is fine," Alex said. "I recently installed security measures to protect my home. You can see the door and cameras are working perfectly." The man nodded and studied the steel door. "It is very strong," he said. "I can see why your house is secure. This is impressive." Alex smiled. He felt proud of the work he had done. This was exactly what he had hoped for: security, respect, and peace. After a few minutes, the man left with a polite wave. Alex returned to his living room and sat down. His heart was still beating slightly fast from the encounter, but he felt relief. The door had proven itself, and his careful planning had worked perfectly. He realized that challenges could come in unexpected ways, but preparation and calm thinking were the key to handling them. The next morning, Alex checked the cameras again. He noticed Karen walking slowly past the house. She stopped briefly and looked at the steel door. Alex did not respond. He knew she could see the changes from a distance, but he was no longer worried. Karen could no longer interfere with his life. The door was more than steel. It was a symbol of his strength and independence. That evening, Alex decided to improve the garden further. He installed motion-activated lights along the pathway and added small cameras at the corners. Every improvement gave him more confidence. He realized that safety was not only about strong doors but also about careful observation and planning. As the days passed, Alex continued his routine. He watered the plants, checked the cameras, and tested the alarms. Each time he saw the steel door standing strong, he felt a sense of satisfaction. No one could enter without permission, and he had taken full control of his home. One night, Alex sat in the living room, sipping tea. The street was quiet, and the garden lights glowed softly. He thought about everything he had faced, from the changed locks to Karen's subtle interference and now the unexpected visitor. Each challenge had taught him something valuable. He had learned patience, careful planning, and courage. Alex knew the steel door had not just protected his home, it had protected his peace of mind. He realized that true security came from preparation and calm thinking. He felt proud of himself and confident that he could face any challenge in the future. That night, he locked the door, checked the alarms, and went to bed with a smile. He felt safe, strong, and ready for whatever might come next. Alex woke up early and looked at the steel bunker door. The morning sun reflected off its strong surface, and he felt a sense of pride. For weeks, he had been working to secure his home, and now everything was in place. The locks, cameras, alarms, and reinforced door had created a shield that made him feel safe and confident. That day, Alex decided to take a walk in the neighborhood. He wanted to greet neighbors and see how things were going. Everyone smiled politely and waved. The street seemed calm, and Alex noticed that Karen was walking at a distance, observing as usual. This time, Alex ignored her. He no longer felt anxious or frustrated. He had learned that control came from preparation, not anger. When he returned home, Alex checked the cameras. Nothing unusual appeared. The steel door remained strong and locked. He pressed the alarm button to make sure it was functioning correctly. The system worked perfectly. Alex smiled. Every improvement he had made was paying off. His home was secure, and he felt peaceful for the first time in months. Later that afternoon, Alex received an unexpected visit. Karen came to his gate, holding a small folder. Alex was cautious but calm. "Hello, Karen," he said. "What brings you here?" Karen cleared her throat and smiled. "I wanted to apologize, Alex. I realize now that changing your locks was not right. I have been too controlling, and I am sorry." Alex was surprised. Her tone seemed genuine. He listened carefully as she continued, "I also see that you have taken strong steps to protect your home. I respect that. I will not interfere again." Alex felt relief. He nodded. "Thank you, Karen. I appreciate your honesty. I hope we can have a peaceful neighborhood moving forward." Karen smiled and left politely. Alex closed the gate and looked at the steel door. It was not just protection from outsiders, it had helped him gain respect and independence. After the visit, Alex spent the evening in his living room, reading a book. He thought about the journey he had taken. From the night he discovered the locks had been changed to installing the steel bunker door, alarms, and cameras, he had faced challenges and learned valuable lessons. He understood that careful planning, calm thinking, and patience were more important than reacting with anger or fear. The next morning, Alex checked the garden. The lights worked perfectly, and the cameras covered every corner. He walked through the house, testing the locks and alarms one more time. Everything was in place. He realized that safety was not just about physical measures, it was also about confidence and peace of mind. In the following weeks, Alex continued his routine. He maintained the garden, checked the cameras, and occasionally tested the door and locks. Life felt normal again. He noticed that Karen's presence had changed too. She no longer walked past his house constantly. She seemed to respect the boundaries he had set. One afternoon, Alex invited a neighbor over for tea. They talked about the neighborhood, the garden, and small improvements around the house. Alex felt happy to share his experiences and give advice about home safety. He realized that helping others and sharing knowledge created trust and friendship. At night, Alex stood near the steel door and looked outside. The street was quiet, and the lights from the garden glowed softly. He felt safe and strong. He knew challenges might come again someday, but he also knew he was prepared. The door, locks, cameras, and alarms had not only protected his home, they had given him confidence and independence. Alex went to bed with a smile, feeling proud of himself. He had faced obstacles, planned carefully, and stayed calm. His home was secure, and he had achieved peace. For the first time in a long time, he slept without worry. The steel bunker door was more than metal, it was a symbol of his courage, determination, and the control he had regained over his life.